And therefore, nobody should have an excuse. The developer has a responsibility as the owner. Guided by professionals, they ought not to have found themselves in the problem we are in. And I have said before that taking shortcuts is one of the challenges this country faces in many things. The inquiry shall be undertaken in collaboration with relevant statutory and enforcement agencies within the construction sector, including Engineers Board of Kenya, the Board of Registration of Architects, Quantity Surveyors, the county government, Directorate of Criminal Investigations, because they have a role, and that's the agency I'm talking about, the Office of the County Commissioner, and is also represented here, the Office of the Public Service, Minister C.S. Roko, you know, they are in charge of some of the operation work in terms of recovery. The ministry will additionally, through multi-agency team, conduct a compliance audit. You see, if you have been told you must use certain materials and you omit, then there is a compliance challenge or problem. And that is what we are saying. We will hold people accountable. I want this case to be a test case for us this year 2026. Kwa sababu imetuanza vibaya sana. It's the new year and we can't allow gaps and oversights. And you know, by people, omissions, not oversights, omissions that are technical but result to loss of life and loss of property. We are lucky that this occurred at night. Possibly we would have suffered bigger loss in terms of lives. But you see, it occurred at night when the site was actually not having workers. And therefore, I just also want to thank God for that kind of eventuality, because finally this disaster would have hit the country very, very badly. It is still bad because we don't need to lose even one life. Even one life lost, we should mourn and take action. And I want to take this opportunity to pass my sincere condolences to the family of the person we have recovered. We still await, because it is suspected there is one more person. All indications is that there is one more person, because we have evidence that there were 3. One person was able to escape. One person we have recovered. We still have not recovered the other person. And until we recover, we cannot say he was there or he was not there. That's why the best I can do is to say all indications and information from the family and from the workers that the person who was able to escape are that they could have been 3 people in the building before the collapse. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Any question? Yes. Before I give Mheshimiwa Roko?
Question was, the
yeah.
question is, number 1, has the developer come out to write a statement, or have you invited the developer to come and write a statement? And 2, the collapse, were it not for the building collapsing, perhaps it could have passed and it could have stayed, and then the tenants would have come in and life continues. So are there concerns or are there fears that there are those kinds of buildings built, normally they are operating, but they've constructed in the manner which this building was built?
Okay, I would not join you to spread fear, but obviously we have had a few cases, maybe similar cases, and that's why we have regulatory bodies. That's why we have administrative bodies. That is why we have coordination bodies. And whenever we, first and foremost, every construction is supposed to be supervised by professionals. No building comes up without registration of this size, without registration by NCA. And that is why we are able to regularly come to site to give quality assurance certificates or go ahead at different stages of the construction. And therefore, I know that we are working quite well. We have a new instrument, the building code, that provides us with better supervisory and regulatory and implementation guidelines. But when a building is going down, and we have been able to catch up several, one in Mombasa, another one here in Nairobi, and even this, if they had followed the approved guidelines and licenses, possibly we wouldn't have gone the way we went. However, I don't want to preempt because I have technical teams that will tell me whether the developer should actually do a statement. You know, we don't want to preempt. You want a thorough job. But I have read out the parties, and those parties that are concerned here, all of them will give their statements at the right and appropriate time. So lazima tuingie kwa undani. We will make sure that we do that. Any other questions?
Yes, two questions. Number one,
Yeah.
you told us your team, the ones from the Ministry of Public Works, they did 4 inspections. What happens when you get a developer who is not abiding by the rules? What action do you take as a ministry to stop such construction? And number two, there's been a lot of confusion on the floors. Your colleague CS Rocco had talked of it was a 14th floor. There was talk of 16, 15 from the county. Maybe you just clarify on that because there's a bit of confusion on how many.
Okay, I believe we are not here to, we should not rush to give information. I'm now giving information as the minister in charge in terms of compliance through NCA. They have been here before. They have approval records for 12 floors. They don't have any other approval record for any floor, whether 2 or 3. They, according to the report I have, is that 4 floors were being added or were added, and therefore, and we will be able to tell by end of it all, we will, because I think there are also some records at the county government, because you know planning, which is within my ministry, has delegated largely through the law to county governments, and therefore they have a major role to play. And if for any reason there is need to change the building plans, then the office of the NCA, the office of the physical planner, director of physical planner in the country, national director of physical planning, is supposed to be updated. So far, I do not have records of the extra. So the next question is, what will you do if a contractor or a developer is not complying? Of course, he should be prosecuted. And the penalties, we do not have very good penalty punishment regulations, and we are in the process of amending. In fact, my draft for amendment of the NCA Act is ready, so that supporting it with the new building code, we will be in a better place to work on this log, on the rogue contractors, log developers. Indeed, you know, the regulations, the code, largely talks about contractors, engineers, developers escape under the guise of they have given to professionals. But you see, a developer can come here and change course and avoid professionals. So we are amending the law so that the developers can squarely be within the act, and we regulate them the same way we are regulating contractors. We will deregister contractors. I will deregister if I'm told that the contractor was the problem. I will deregister the contractor. I will suspend the license of the architect if I find through the report that he went 3 other floors or one extra floor without approval by NCA, I'm gonna deregister them. Because Borax is the board of registration of architects and surveyors, quantity surveyors and surveyors. So I will deregister.
Okay, Madam CS,
Yeah.
there's another question.
The last one?
Okay. There have been allegations that NCA had faulted this building and said it should not go on. That's allegations we've had from Friday, where it is said that you had declared that the building was not fit to go on. Is that still the position? Or
That report should wait the final report. Let us not preempt useful information, because anything I say here can also be prejudicial and be cited to exonerate runaway rogues. So I want to beg that I get the full, by end of today, we expect that we will finalize the evacuation, the recovery and rescue effort or work that is remaining. And I'm sure in another 2 days, I'll be able to answer that question with precision. Any other? Nataka Mheshimiwa Ruko, yes. The last one. Okay.
Is it true that with the update we got from yesterday, because the media doesn't want them to move back, what is the true position? Did they mislead Waziri yesterday to provide the correct information?
Waziri is here, and I'm sure he is capable of answering and clarifying that particular point. But I had said, if you followed me, I said there is the information we have, there is a probability that there is a second person who actually, most efforts here now are to recover that person. We have an indication as to around where he would be. That is one. About which security firm they belong to and whether they gave correct information or whether they are insured or not, I would rather that becomes part of the final report. It's good to say that we have recovered one person. I will not give the names. I have met the family, the parents of that person. I'm told he has some children also. And so he was in the process, he was in the course of duty. And I think that is enough information. The second person, if for sure he did not escape, if he was on duty, we shall get the full details. And then, because I'm also advised that they are relatives, the two are relatives. And therefore, we would want to give you full details of those people. You know, we have to be also very sensitive to the family. And you know, identification of persons are done by doctors and family members. They are the ones who are able to say, this is our person, and then the medical report, a medical doctor will then confirm whether that person is alive or not. I don't know whether, is your question answered? No, leave that one. Leave that one. And if the security firm was there, we will get those details. But the site, 1 minute, the site belongs to the developer. Any security person or firm that was employed is the responsibility of the developer. So I think we are safe with that information.
For inspections that were done by the team from the public works, after they came and saw there is a problem, what action did they take? Just that.
No, I didn't say I said the 4 were okay. But now, on the collapse of this, they found extra floors that were not part of our records. Yeah.
Is there a systematic period within which you do the inspections? Because you mentioned the severally the issue of non-compliance. So was it an issue of negligence from the inspection authority?
I think the media is jumping the gun. Issues of negligence are technical issues also and evidence. Let us get the full report. I think it is sufficient for me to say we will not exonerate. We shall not spare any person found by the technical people, report given to me through the multi-agency team that is here working. Let me not preempt their work, but be assured that we shall not exonerate. We will implement the report, and we shall insist that the report is accurate and correct. Of course, between myself and Rocco and the professional multi-agency teams, we will be able to give the media and the public the correct position. Thank you.
Will Rocco maybe come to this side?
Maswali yote waziri amejibu, si ndio? Kwa hivyo mimi sina maneno mingi. It's only to say this remains an operation area and safety of those who are working on the recovery mission should be secured. Anybody who is involved in this operation, the safety is key. Therefore, it remains an operation area. As we directed yesterday, the school, which is here, remain closed for now until we are done with the recovery mission. We continue to send our sympathies to the families of the affected, and the government stand with the families of the affected. And as we said yesterday also, we will stand with the family in terms of all the costs which are associated as a government. Finally, we expect to be done by tomorrow as far as the recovery mission is concerned. And once we are able to get or to recover the Kenyan who we are suspecting is still under the rubble, then we'll be able to clear the road, and other protocols as far as the recovery and identification mission is concerned will be undertaken by the relevant government institutions. As the Minister for Public Works and Housing has said, all the technical questions on what happened, as we said yesterday, will be answered by relevant institutions. And I'm sure the Minister and our team are very competent and will give us that information. For now, is to continue with the recovery mission, is to continue asking all people in this area of South Sea to remain calm, to bear with us, so that we can finish this operation soonest possible. We know and we thank all the teams, the multi-agency team from the National Disaster Management Unit led by Dr. Duncan, the National Disaster Operation Center, National Youth Service, Kenya Defense Forces, Red Cross, the South Sea Fraternity, and all other teams which are involved in this mission. We continue to thank them for their commitment, dedication to this service. The President of Kenya is very well briefed as far as the recovery mission is concerned. He's updated, and he has directed all of us to ensure we get out of the site when we can account for all those who have been affected. And he sent his sympathies and the condolences to the families of those of the one body we recovered that is standing with the family and any other person affected. We thank Kenya Power for reconnecting the houses around with power. I'm sure now they can be able to go on with their day-to-day activities without missing power in the houses. Thank you. As we said, we'll be updating you in the morning at 4 p.m. We expect to be having another update at 4 p.m. And if there's no update, also we will communicate. Thank you so much. And thank you for your cooperation, the effort you're making to inform Kenyans on exactly what is happening. Thank you so much.
Kwanza